everybody. Welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie, Mandy.
And I am here with my bestie, Jessica, and author Jane Henry.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. We're excited. I know Mandy's really, really excited to have you on here. So we're happy you're able to join us. So I almost said this morning, but it is not morning for us. So
no.
Okay. Well, to get started, we definitely want to talk about Wicke Altar, but I am really curious about how many books you've written, because I looked at my Goodreads and I'm like, I have read quite a few of your books. And then I went to your reading order and I kept scrolling and scrolling. And I'm like, I have not read that many of her books, apparently. And I have read in series like all over the place. I don't know what happened. So how many books have you written?
I don't actually even know an exact number. I need to tally it up. It's over 80. I know it's over 80.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I was just thinking, I was getting ready before I came on here and I was thinking about Mafia, and I was like, gosh, I think I've written over like 40 Mafia books alone, never mind the 80 books. And I do have like quite a bit of interconnected books. So when you look at my reading order, a lot of people will start in one series and then I'll spin off. So like Wicke Altar, for example, is second generation. So a lot of people read the first generation, but even the second gen ties into multiple series because I love my characters and I don't want to let them go. So I just keep bringing them back. Yeah. So there's a lot of like series interconnectedness. We call it the Jane Henry universe. So it's pretty common for people to say to me, I've read a lot of your books, or what people will say to me like at a signing is, I've read all your books. And then they'll look and they'll be like, actually, I haven't, because I have
a lot of books. Yeah.
It is a lot.
And when did you first publish it? When did you start? Because your books span over several years.
Yes,
many
this
years.
is my 10-year anniversary. So 2016, May of 2016 was my first romance book published.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So I remember reading some of the earlier ones.
You can really get in on that trend then, the 2016 10-year trend.
Yeah, I was just talking about, I've got somebody that makes graphics and I was like, let me think about what I want to say, because it's like a big year for me,
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's crazy. 10 years and 80 books. That's just, or more. That's nuts.
I'm not keeping up that pace. It was a lot. But yeah, it is a lot. But I do have, like we were saying a little bit before we started recording, I'm kind of in a unique position that my husband works with me full time. So he does I have mostly indie books. Actually, right now they're all indie. And he does all the publishing work, all the formatting, all the the marketing. So I basically just write. So it gives me a kind of unique experience,
Yeah. I'm curious about that. Like, did you have to train him? Because if I gave my husband a book and said format and proof and do this, edit this, it would be a mess.
Yeah, I don't think he would like me putting it that way. When we're together, he works with me. When I'm alone, he works for me. So it's fine.
Okay. Got it.
He's been working with me since 2021. And he actually has an MBA in marketing and business. So he kind of had a really good brain for it. But with his skill set, he needed a while to get like the big scope, the big picture behind things. So it took a while. Sorry. It took a while for him to get to train him, to teach him, and it wasn't even just the logistics of like formatting. He does advertising. He actually has multiple romance clients that he does ads for. Okay. But it was even understanding romance, like the industry itself. It's just such a unique industry that it took a while for us to really get the hang of it. But I know him very well. We've been married almost 24 years. So I knew that once he got the hang of it, he would be an absolute master at it. And he is such a powerhouse for my publishing company. So it took a while. But now he's on board and he actually consults with other authors and he's very good at what he does.
Because my husband has his degree in business and finance too, but I would never hand him a book. So your husband deserves a round of applause. So that is awesome.
Well, when he was studying for his master's, he had to take, some like prerequisites. And one of the things he had to study, it might have been his undergrad, was English Lit. So he read all of Jane Austen's books and he loved them. So he was the one that was like, we need to watch Bridgerton. And, he's very into romance. So he loves a good love story.
I love that.
It does help.
Well, tell us about Wicke Altar and how it ties in to the Jane Henry universe.
Sure. So Wicke Altar, I do want to explain that it is a standalone book. So there's no need to have read anything previously. which people are asking a lot because they hear second gen. Do you have to read the first gen? And you don't. The first gen is 7 books and takes place 25 to 30 years before. So there's a lot of tie-ins. So there will be a lot of Easter eggs and cameo appearances for people that know the first series, but it's not necessary to read it. So book 1 is Cavan and Erin's story, and Cavan is connected to 2 main series, 3 actually, but 2 main ones. Keenan is his father, and Keenan was book 1 of the Dangerous Dom. So that's the first generation series. So Cavan is Keenan's son. And Cavan's oldest brother is Seamus McCarthy, who's the current head of the McCarthy clan. And his book was Unrequited, which was the last book in my Brought for Kings series. So that's how it ties in. And so the third series so I guess there's 3 altogether. There's Dangerous Doms, the Brought for Kings, and then the McCarthy family legacy, which is this one. Does that answer your question? How it ties in?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love, it's pronounced Seamus, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always want to say Seamus because it's spelled that way, and Jessica's like, no, it's Seamus.
I love you.
It throws me every time, but I love him, and we see like just a little tiny bit of him in Snowbound.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. We have a couple cameos in Snowbound too. I love to do the little Easter eggs. They're really fun for me, and give a little peek, and it's kind of like a rewarding experience for a reader that recognizes them. I was getting a lot of people saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is, we see this character, and you said McCarthy. Are we going back to Ballyhock? So there's a lot of excitement about it. But yeah, and it's funny. I grew up in Boston, so Boston Irish is very common for us. It never even dawned on me that Seamus would be a difficult name. I grew up with Siobhan's, and it's Siobhan. Never even thought that it would be difficult. But then people started reading it, and they're like, "How do you say his name?" So I'm going to get a family tree and like a pronunciation guide.
Yeah, that's helpful. I have Irish heritage, and then I did like Scottish Highland dance and stuff, so I'm used to some funky names, at least funky for Americans. But they're beautiful names, and sometimes they're hard to figure out for those of us that are very white over here.
For sure. I had to go through the list and then just kind of narrow it down to like American Irish names. So Erin is like a little more common for, versus like Nev or Imogen or something like that. But
I did not struggle with her name.
Excuse me.
I got that one. I'm really glad to hear it wasn't just me though, because
never just
no, again, it just didn't even dawn on me. But yeah, a lot of people were messaging me and asking, and then my narrators clarify, the pronunciations before they begin narration too.
Yeah. We have close friends who all of their kids have Irish names. Like took the kids to Ireland. They're definitely Irish. Like I think my skin's see-through, but it is nothing compared to how platinum blonde their children are and see-through their skin is. And so they all have very Irish names. And I think that kind of trained me for the Irish too. So
for sure.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about what Wicke Altar is about?
Yes. Yeah. It's actually, of the 80 books I've written, my favorite book. And I will be honest, I say that a lot. This is my favorite book, but this really is my favorite book. I absolutely love this book. So I went into it. I always have a really good idea before I start writing, what the conflict is going to be, what their character arc is going to be, what the tropes are going to be, at least for marketing. But then I really like to get into what are their emotional wounds, like what is keeping them from experiencing love fully. What are we going to see them develop throughout the story? So I went into this, in my mind, this was like Draco and Hermione. This was Hermione fiction. What's going to happen if the bad boy from school, who is not just morally gray, but pretty morally black, has to marry the goody two-shoes, right? So like that was kind of their chemistry going into it. And I really do think that came across like through the book. So Erin she's actually sprung into this marriage. I won't say too much about that, but her sister has a terminal illness, and the McCarthys have a connection to a doctor that has the potential to help her sister and heal her from this terminal illness. And the McCarthys need her parents' trade route. So, it's a trade. We get married, you win, I win, that kind of thing. But they hate each other because they went to school together and he was her high school bully. Erin is also neurodivergent, and it's the first time I've written a neurodivergent heroine. I did a neurodivergent hero in my last series, and I loved writing an autistic hero. I found it a lot harder to write an autistic heroine, and I'm not even really sure why. I think when I wrote from the hero's point of view, I was trying to make sure that he was very careful with how he spoke to her, and he tried to learn the emotions that he could express, and he was very keenly aware of things that affected her and aware of the fact that it didn't come naturally to him. But with Erin, it was challenging because she felt like she didn't fit in, and she feared vulnerability so much so that she doesn't like leaving the house, and she doesn't have any friends, and she's never even been kissed before. Her first date with him is the first date she's ever had because she just wants to be home. And at one point, her sister says, and again, I won't spoil it, but she says something to the effect of, "Take me to the club. I don't want to die a virgin." And Erin thinks to herself, "I don't understand that. I would happily die a virgin." Like, she has no interest in being romantically attracted to anybody, attached to anybody. So that was a big part of the interplay between Cavan and Erin. And then her emotional vulnerability, and his too, to an extent, for a different reason. So it's a bully romance with neurodivergence and arranged marriage, and then this sister that she's absolutely best friends with. So there's a lot of emotion in this book, but it played together pretty well. I liked how it came out in the end, which is why it's my favorite book.
It made me cry a couple of times.
Oh, I love hearing that. I mean, sad that you cried, but I think romance gives us
books that make me feel.
Go ahead. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's exactly it. And I think romance that spans the spectrum is just so emotionally rewarding, you know? So that's why I like that we can get into that point. And I cry when I write it. Sometimes I cry thinking about the scene that I'm going to write. I haven't even written it yet, but I just really kind of get into that headspace of the characters. So yeah.
I think that's saying. I think that's saying a lot when a mafia romance can make you cry. 'Cause typically, it's not the mafia ones that are making you cry, but if this one made her cry, that's pretty high praise.
They're known for being, really high stakes and dramatic, almost like romantic suspense sometimes. But the beauty of Mafia is that there's these interconnected found families. At least the Mafia, the way that I write them, I love the found family. So there's always there's brothers, there's sisters, there's uncles, there's aunts. I usually try to have an older, figure too, like a grandparent or something. It's just very rewarding to me to write that. So it does. My Mafia tends to be kind of emotion driven. But you're right. It's not always the case with Mafia.
Not always, but yeah. But I love it. I love that you can bring those emotions into a Mafia romance. So that's amazing.
The relationship with the sister was very special. And I think a lot of times in romance books in general, sometimes the sisters in an arranged marriage situation, more Mafia, they don't necessarily get along all the time.
Yeah.
And in this one, it was very different.
Yes.
They're best friends. And
what's interesting about their relationship, or kind of unique in my opinion, is that the younger sister is the one that almost functions like an older sister to a degree, because she's the one that understands the way the world works, and she understands the social norms, and she's the one teaching her older sister how to wear makeup and things like that. So while Erin is very protective of her younger sister, Bridget is always also protective of Erin. And actually, just to get a little personal, my oldest son is autistic, and my younger daughter, who's a year and a half younger than he is not. And it was exactly that way with them. Even though he's the oldest, she very much functioned as the oldest. So that's kind of how I saw Bridget and Erin interplay with each other. Yeah.
So where do you get your ideas for these Mafia romances? Because when we talk to other authors, if they write football romance, they know someone who played football professionally, or they know someone who knows someone who, so they talk to they get these connections where they can talk to people. I'm going to assume that Mafia writers are not hanging out and observing how the
You never know.
works. I mean, I guess you don't know.
Funny you should say that. I think most people assume that Mafia writers don't have any real world Mafia experience. However, I grew up in Boston, And every once in a while, a reader will say, yeah, the Mafia doesn't really exist, right? I can promise you the Mafia 100% exists. You know, there are even times in Mafia, because I'm friends with a lot of other Mafia writers, we joke about like, oh, this is the book that's going to get the Mafia knocking on my door, you know, because it's they're out there.
Like, how did you know about this?
Right, right. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, was that Whitey Bulger like reference too obvious? You know, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So I actually did grow up knowing Mafia, people that were in the Mafia. One of my dad's neighbors was very well known in the community for being a mobster. My brother's best friend was, and he was the nicest guy you'd ever meet. He was literally very attractive, very, very charming, and he was Italian Mafia. So it does happen. I wouldn't say that when I was, you know, in college meeting these Mafia guys, I was like, and now I'll write a romance, you know, but it's definitely impacted when I started reading them. And I always have this kind of creative brain going, always thinking of different romance ideas. And I'm very much like a romantic at heart. Like you know, I always love to see the romance in situations, you know. So when I started reading Mafia romance, I was like, yeah, I love this. There's an appeal of this anti-hero. And with my particular brand of Mafia, I tend to write heroes that are very soft for her, but kind of, you know, cutthroat for everybody else. Because that just really, really appeals to me. And I do have some heroes that are like a lot more harder than others, and some are softer. But they all kind of have this daddy vibe because it's just my thing. I really like it, you know? So that's kind of what got me into writing it. I just started reading it, and I actually read Julia Sykes, and she had some Mafia books. Actually, I don't remember if they were Mafia, but she was one of the first people. It was Pam Goodwin and Julia Sykes. I was reading their romance, and I loved dark romance, but they were the first time I read their books, and I was like, these are dark, but they're very heavily romantic. And I want a really swoon-worthy, sweep me off my feet romance when I read a romance. So that's what I wanted to write. I wanted to write this anti-hero who is feared, and for good reason, and morally gray or black too, because I really like the redemption of an anti-hero, and sometimes not a redemption, just a love story, but I want to see like the character arc. So I started reading Julia Sykes and Pam Godwin, and I was like, I could do this. I could write Mafia where it's dark, but also like very, very romantic. So that's kind of what inspired me. But I do think back about growing up, and we actually had a cafe that my friends and I used to go to, and it was just this little coffee shop, and we jokingly would call it the Mafia Cafe because everybody that would come in would be like this guy with like gold chains and like, you know, suits and stuff, and we'd be like, all right, you guys want to get coffee at the Mafia Cafe? I don't even remember the name of the shop because we just
love that.
Yeah, that's what we called it. So.
Yeah. So have you had a chance to talk with Julia or Pam and let them know that they were what got you started in this?
Yes, Julia and I are very good friends. I've met Pam, but we really haven't had a chance to like have much of a conversation. I met her at a romance convention, gosh, 6 or 7 years ago. And I just kind of like ran up to Pam and fangirled, and she's like the sweetest little thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love your books. Thank you so much. And then like ran and hid, you know, I was like afraid and fangirling.
Cute.
Julia and I developed a relation, just a friendship, and we're in touch all the time. And she definitely knows that she inspired, well, I hope she remembers, she was very humble. But yeah, I've told her all the time, like, you gave me like permission. You don't even know you did it. But because really at the time, there weren't a lot of people that were writing heavily romantic books with dark heroes. It was still like Captive in the Dark was really big. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yes, I have, yeah.
Dark, like they were really dark. And I still love the dark books. But for me to write them, I wanted like more of the romance element. So yeah, I was able to tell them, which was fun.
Good. Glad.
You do a great job of weaving the romance in with the Mafia. So because I read some Mafia where I'm like, was that even really Mafia? Like, I don't know that I would even call it Mafia. But as you're saying this, I'm thinking back to several of your books that I've read, and that's really like what makes yours stand out, is that it does have those elements in it.
Thank you.
While still being on the darker side.
I've actually been working really hard with my developmental editor on that, because I can write a romance all day. I've written 80 romances over 10 years. So I know how to write a romance in my sleep. You know, I know how to put people together and how to bring a happily ever happily ever after, but I really wanted to work on bringing that subplot, like that Mafia subplot, because again, those emotional stakes are higher when they have these plots that really drive them together. So basically, when the external plot is what's driving that internal plot. So my developmental editor has been great at helping me with that, just giving me ideas. And, it's a skill like anything else. And we just keep trying to get better at it. So thank you. I'm really glad that it worked.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So for your writing process, do you do an outline? I know you said that you normally know going in what like some of the main points are going to be, but do you do like a detailed outline? Do you just start writing and they take you where they take you?
Yes. So I do so much plotting before I begin a series. So I usually have a series Bible before I begin like the first word of book one. Because when I go into writing a Mafia series, I like to know who the power players are. So I want to know like who's in charge, what's the hierarchy in this family, because I want to start building the characters of the secondary characters before I even get to their books, because it makes just for a better read. So I do a lot of plotting. I have a series Bible. I usually have inspirational pictures that I've pinned. I like to have an idea of what the setting is, what time of year, what kind of like what's going to unite these books thematically. So I do a lot of plotting. And then once I have an idea of what the series is going to look like, and then I structure which stories I want in that series in what order. So, with the Brought for Kings, for example, which was my last series, I knew that I wanted the younger sister to end up with the oldest brother of the rivals. So in book one, I started kind of planting these little seeds because I enjoy that, and readers enjoy it too. So I do have an idea of who's coming and when and what their stories are. So for example, with Wicke Altar, there's a couple in this book that everybody's shipping, and it's not going to be book two. They're going to be book three. So I'm leading into that like with these little Easter eggs. So I always kind of have this like idea of what I want to do for a series. And then I plot the book, and I always have I start with a great outline. I do not follow my outline. And I know that this is just part of my process now, is that I'm going to have an outline. And I know that at 50%, my book is not going to look anything like that outline. And I've fought it. I've tried to like bring myself back to the outline. And I just now, after having written this many books, I'm like, no, this is part of my process. I need to at least have an idea what I'm going to write about. And then I need to just throw it all out. So I always know what the plot's going to be, like the basic plot. And then I always know how it's going to end, because I have to know. Even when I read a book, I frequently read the endings first. I don't know why. It's how my brain works. I just need to know how it ends. So I always know how the book is going to end. And I usually have at least one pivotal scene in mind before I begin. Sometimes I'll be on the treadmill, I'll be showering, and an idea will come to me. So for Wicke Altar, there's a scene, and I won't give too many spoilers, but it's the wedding scene. And Aaron, who we know is autistic, has a meltdown. And Kevin calms her down. So he's able to recognize that she's having a meltdown. She is having a hard time self-regulating, and he just steps up. And it's just really this beautiful moment where he calms her down and is able to bring her back to the present, and she can let go of her anxiety. So before I even wrote the first word, I knew that was the scene that I wanted in that book. So I do have like pivotal scenes that are going to happen. I also knew, because it was a bully romance, at one point they were going to go back to the school where he bullied her, because I wanted them to experience that together as adults. So I do have like scenes. Sorry, this is a long answer. I have a whole process.
No, this is good.
I'm just like, let me talk about my book.
No, it's great. That's what we got you here for. Talk away.
So I always know I spend way more time on the character development than I do on the plot, mainly because at this point I know I'm going to throw a lot of the plot out anyway. But I go so deep into the character development before I begin. So I like to know their Enneagram number, their zodiac sign, their birthday. I like to know their birth order, all of these things that impact who they are, what they look like, yes, but then what they like, what their quirks are, what are their, little funny things that they do. So I come up with all that before I write, and then I just kind of let them tell their story. So I start it, and then about 25% of the way in, I finally start feeling like I know what their voices are, and then I go back and rewrite the whole thing. So that's That's kind of my process.
Mhm.
It takes a long time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is. And to crank out 80 books in 10 years doing that, that's impressive.
Well,
Mhm.
thank you. Well,
Yeah.
it takes longer now than it did in the beginning. Like in the beginning, and it's interesting when you're a new writer, you just kind of write like you're like, I'm writing a romance. And now I'm like, okay, well, I've written this trope so many times. So I have a lot more.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot more that goes into it now than when
Mhm.
I was first writing.
Yeah.
But once I start writing, I write really hard. I draft like 3 to 4 weeks
Mhm.
for the first draft. So
For me, it's the thinking ahead to plant the Easter eggs. Like my brain can't compute that right now. That is too much thinking. So I mean, kudos to you. Like that's got to take a lot to really
it
plan
does.
that out.
And it's
Mhm.
kind of funny. It's almost like one of the ways that I typically do it is once I get to the end, then I'll go back and I'm like, okay, this is the scene where I'm going to put this right now. So
Okay.
like I know who the couple is for book 3 in my current series. And today I'm working on book 2. So I went back to the end and I just expanded the scene where you see who the next couple is.
Okay.
And readers will
Yeah.
probably know that's who it is when they come like, oh, why are we all of a sudden having a spotlight on these other characters? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I do try to weave the Easter eggs in.
Mhm.
With Wicke Altar, I should have put this in the beginning of the book, but I actually put 3 Easter eggs to the Taylor Swift song "Eldest Daughter," which I've told people like privately, but I haven't really made a big deal. But for people that like Taylor Swift, there's a lot of Easter eggs for the Eldest Daughter song in that. So I love Easter eggs. I think they're fun.
I
Did you
need
pick up
to go
any?
back now
Mm.
and check for those because sometimes like I will miss those. Jessica read a book that had like I enjoy Taylor Swift and it had a ton
I
of
know.
Taylor Swift references in it.
Hi,
And so
Jessica.
I read it and I'm like, I hardly picked up any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
But
got
I did.
annoyed with it.
Sorry.
So I might have missed
I
it.
did. Wasn't that the one where I was like, did you not get all the Taylor Swift references? She's like, no.
You're like,
And I'm
I
like,
didn't even
oh my
like her,
gosh.
and I hated
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hated them.
That's so
Can
funny.
you guys hear that? It has like been downpouring for like
Mm-mm.
5 minutes now. It's so loud.
No, but I
Okay,
have
can
my
you
fan
hear it?
going in here too, so I don't hear a
Okay.
lot of outside noise.
No,
But
That's good that
yeah.
it's not picking up because it is
Yeah.
insane.
Well,
There are a lot of authors that use Taylor Swift in their books. And so I've had to get over my hate of that because it is what it is. Like I just read the book for the book. But yeah, normally I'll be like, yeah, there was a lot of Taylor Swift references in that book.
I think that's probably why I didn't reference it. I'm like, this is going to be 50% of the readers are going to love it, 50% are
Yeah.
going to hate it,
Yeah.
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 That's funny.
You should put in the sleeping with the fishes line.
Right? That is
Or
such a
however
Mafia
that
coded.
goes.
It's so Mafia coded, that song. Yeah.
Yes, I have
Mhm.
seen a lot of
Yeah.
people talking about that.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And it was funny. I didn't really like that song at first on the new album. And then my writing friends were like, how could you not like that song? It's Mafia. I'm like, oh, right. Then when I went back and listened, I'm like, oh, now I like it. Yeah, it's fine.
Mhm.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Jessica. We can change the subject at any point.
Okay, I suck it up. I deal with it. I don't hold it against any author. I just keep going.
I
So-
tried because Jessica and I, like when we were teenagers, we really loved George Michael.
Mhm.
We listened to Father Figure a lot. Like we
Mhm.
recorded it on a VHS.
VHS.
We would rewind.
It was
yeah.
the MTV. It was the music video. We'd watch
Yeah.
it over and over again. We
And
were
so when I
seniors and juniors.
saw that she credited George Michael on Father Figure, I'm like, oh, Jessica's this is going to be the hook to get her.
The
And
one
she's
that
like,
didn't work.
ugh, that is
No.
not how the song goes at all.
It's really not.
Like, how dare she do that to Georgie? Come on.
And I'm like, but it's Mafia, and still nothing from her.
No.
So
No, and I love me some Mafia, and I'm like, no, you
No.
just ruined Georgie.
Yeah,
So
we need to keep Taylor Swift out of the Mafia. That's fine.
it's okay. It's all good. I just
People don't even know that Easter eggs are there, so you're good.
yeah, exactly. He has
I'm
no
going to go
clue.
back and find them now.
Yeah, we can chat a little bit after. I can give you some clues.
Okay. Okay, we're about 30 minutes in. Is it okay if we ask you a couple more questions?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm just curious. We already found out a little bit about you before we started, but what do you like to do in your free time?
Well, I'm a big reader, which is probably not a surprise to anybody. Mostly audio because I do have 6 kids, which I mentioned before we started chatting. So it's a busy house. And I'm always like in the car washing dishes. So I do a lot of audiobooks. I also love to weightlift. Like that's like one of my favorite things to do. So if I'm at the gym, I am weightlifting. It's a very empowering kind of thing. And I've got friends that I do it with. But then I'm also super new agey. And this has been coming up in interviews lately. So I'm just owning it. Like it's something I don't usually talk about. But in my personal life, I'm a Reiki master and I'm very into tarot and oracle cards and astrology and all that stuff. So it does actually come into my books sometimes. Like I may mention, there's a little reference to numerology and Wicke Altar. Every once in a while I mention tarot and things like that. So that all kind of excites and interests me. Yeah. And then other than that, I write in mom pretty much.
Yeah.
Although Erin got me, I used to crochet a lot, and in Wicke Altar, Erin knits. And I've been looking at like little kids to, I'm like, I need to go back to, because I loved crocheting. That was like, I would crochet and listen to my audiobook. I just don't take the time to do that anymore. But it's something I enjoy. I do color. I color and listen to audiobooks. You know, I'm going to get back to crocheting.
Yeah. My middle child picked up crocheting before Christmas this year. We all got crocheted crap for Christmas.
I love that.
Crap. It was great. But she was just crocheting away, and then her fiance got her a box full of yarn, and she was so excited. So she's like, I'm gonna go get this special yarn and make you like dish rags, like to wash the dishes with. And I'm like, do it. Let's do it.
Once you get into
she made it for her future mother-in-law, but she didn't make it for me. So I'm have to have a little talk.
Mother's Day. There's some time.
Maybe. I did have a birthday last week, so I didn't get it then either. So thanks.
Hopefully she's listening.
She's not even here. She's up with him.
I feel like I should probably send her a message after.
I feel like you should.
Right.
Feel like you should.
Were your ears burning?
Yeah, exactly. So
my mother-in-law crochets, and she's in a nursing home, so we frequently go to the craft store to buy her yarn. And every time I'm buying, I'm like, oh, I need to get yarn again. I need to get back into this.
Well, and I used to knit. I learned how to knit before, when we were living in Alaska, before I had kids. And I used to do it all the time, just sit and knit. And I haven't done it for years. And now that I'm watching her crochet, I want to pick up knitting again. But the last thing I need is another hobby. So,
I understand. Believe me, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, am I going to read or am I going to crochet or sleep?
Yeah, exactly.
Sleep's good.
Exactly. Sleep's good.
But you can do that with an audiobook.
Yes.
Yeah. And I do love audio. Actually, recently started getting into the Quinn app. Have you guys seen these? The Quinn app is like, it's an immersive audio experience.
Oh, yeah. I know. Okay.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. And so the narrator is like, you are the second person in the book. So the narrator is reading it, and it's a lot of erotica, which is not usually my thing. And, no shade on people that like it. It just doesn't really do it for me. But they just recently started having more romance on this app. So I started really getting into it's fun. Like Ember and Ice is one, and it's narrated by the guys from Heated Rivalry, like the same actors. So that was fun.
Tor Tom.
No, from the guys that actually played on the show.
Not from the guys. Okay.
Hudson
Tora was telling us something about an app kind of like this, so that.
Yeah, but it was mostly erotic, and I can't remember what it was.
But yeah, she said that's what this was. But then
this has a lot of erotica on it.
Started doing more romance.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't know that was it. I think it was called something different. But we'd have to go back and listen.
Yeah.
So but Tor did for Heated Rivalry. He did the audiobook.
Yes, I just got the audiobooks for Heated Rivalry and started listening to it. And he does a great job. He really does. Yeah. He's a good guy.
He's a friend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we laugh about it though because he sends us voice memos through Instagram, and that is how we talk with him all the time, back and forth voice memos. And then I go and pick up one of his books, and I'm like, damn it, Tor, because then I hear Tor and not the main character. And so I told him that, and he's like, no. And I'm like, yes, it takes me a minute to get out of my head and to realize, okay, no, this is not Tor, this is the character. But that's what happens when you're good friends with audiobook narrators and you guys leave voice memos back and forth.
Yeah, so I can totally see that. I mean, you definitely have an idea of who this person is. Like actually on the Quinn app, Ember and Ice is narrated by Connor and Hudson, and I had a hard time with it because there's no Russian accent. And I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Nope, I can't do it. Because I had kind of a type,
Yeah,
But
exactly.
the Quinn app is fun for audio girls that like spice. Actually, Jamie Campbell Bower is like a major celebrity crush of mine, and he does one that's excellent on the Quinn app. So really recommend.
I need to check this out.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, one of our last question would just be if we'll see you at any author signings.
Yes, I'm actually, let's see. This is a big year for signings.
Notes.
Yes, I need to.
Mandy's taking notes.
In March, I'll be at the New Romantics in Orlando for Dark Romance panel and signing. In April, I'll be at Charm City Romanticon in Maryland. And then, let's see, I've got a little break in the summer. August, I will be at Sinners and Stardust in Boston, which I'm very excited about. My first year there. September, I'll be at Smut Lovers in Orlando. And then October, I will be at Love in Vegas. Is it? Am I saying it right? It's one of the Wild and
Love in Vegas. Yeah.
Love in Vegas. Okay, because I get confused. The emails come from Wild and Windy, but it's Love in Vegas.
It's Love in Vegas. It's because they bought it. They took it over from the original. Yeah.
So they're kind of they're connected now. Yeah. So that's what I'm. Oh, and then I think I have one more indie book signing, but I haven't confirmed that yet. So that's what I'll be doing this year.
Are you going to go to New Orleans with Wild and Windy?
I may have signed up for 2027. I don't know if I have. I have a couple of things signed up for 2027, but I don't remember what. Are you going to that one?
We are. We always go to Love in Vegas, but this year we're going to Fangirl in Orlando in September. And I'm a teacher, and so taking off time during the school year does not really work out as well as I would like it to. And so we decided this year not to go to Love in Vegas. And so now I'm going to sit at home and cry.
FOMO is real for her. Real. Yeah. But I mean, we're doing we're not just doing the signing. We're spending a couple extra days. We have a few author friends that are coming from across the pond, and one of them for sure. And we're going to be in Disney World with her. And so, that's we had to.
I'm not upset about it. I'm just bummed that I'm going to miss.
We will be at.
Jane Henry is on my list of authors.
But maybe you just need to talk Jane into doing the Niagara Falls signing in 2027.
Oh, actually, I was invited to one because I have a friend in Toronto, and so we definitely wanted. Which one is that? And
it's Fallen with the Bells.
The Southern Bells.
Oh, I've heard a lot of good things about that one.
Yeah,
if you want to send me a message, let me know. I'll for sure look at it.
Yeah, do it.
I would love to go. Niagara Falls is not too far from me because I'm in Boston. So
yeah, I love that'd be a good one for you. We'll be there. I'll be there as a vendor, and Mandy will be there as my assistant for the J. So she's excited for that one. She loves to be my assistant, but I love the thought of bossing her around. It's going to be fun. So
that's the PJ version of what she calls me.
She's the bitch. So my book bitch. So yeah. So we'll be at that one.
I'll have to go to the bathroom a lot.
Yeah. Penelope Douglas will be at that one. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, she's on my list of authors to meet.
Yeah, ours too. So that's the one we'll get to meet her at.
Okay, well now we have the hook to get you signed up.
Yeah, you gotta do it. Message Erin. She's amazing. She'll put you on the list. It's great.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
So that would be great.
Yeah. Okay, Mandy.
Okay, well I think that was all of our questions. If there's anything else you wanted to tell us before we get off, anything we didn't ask that you wanted to talk about.
Just want to thank you for having me. And Wicke Altar went live Friday, so if you guys want to pick that up, and it's my first time ever that the audio is simultaneously released. So audio listeners, you guys can also one click, which is great.
Yeah, we've got a lot of viewers that love audio and are big time audio people, so that will be awesome. Do you remember who did the audio for it?
What's that?
Do you remember who did the audio?
Yep, it's Wynn Ross and Kai Kennicott. And they did
an
amazing job. They did a really fantastic job. I always love promoting the audio because I read mostly audio. So I get very excited when my books are in audio.
Yeah. And that's a great team.
Yeah, I got the ALC for this. So I talked about this last week on our 1 minute bookrecs, which I went over in a minute, obviously. But they've done quite a few of yours.
They've done a lot of mine. Yeah, they're a great team, and we just have such a great rapport that I just keep sending them more. But I also do a lot of books that have accents, and I'm very picky with who does my accents, and they just do such a good job. So
yeah.
So they are actually doing that accent. That's not their normal.
oh yeah, those are their accents. They're both American. I know, and a couple people have asked me that because they're so good at the accents. They sound like native speakers, but they're not. Yeah, and even before they narrate for me, they ask, is this a Northern Ireland accent, or they added like they'll even modify it based on the location. Like they're that good. So, and there's a couple of characters in the book. They do a Scottish accent for somebody else, an English accent for somebody else, and an American accent for somebody. So they're very versatile. But
yeah, they're awesome.
I did not realize that.
Yeah,
I would sound like a cartoon character, like mocking somebody. If I tried to do that, it would not go well.
Don't even try.
Actually, it's recently come up in like I've been talking to people in a couple interviews that I dictate my first drafts, and when I'm writing an Irish book, I always dictate with an Irish accent. So multiple people have asked for like a video, and I was like, I will die before I ever show anybody me dictating in an Irish accent because it is embarrassing. I could not do audio. It gets the job done for me, but
yeah, I love it. There's blackmail out there somewhere. Well, yeah,
that would be mine.
Yeah, good to know.
Oh, too funny.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and joining us for the interview. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun chatting with you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And thanks to everybody out there who's watching. Go get Wicke Altar on audio or ebook. And we'll see you guys in the next video.